to be able to remove friction from the process, to be able to answer questions ourselves as part of the packaging or the underwriting without having to burden our brokers. So open banking is a key bit of that for us, because it really helps us remove that friction from the broker and say, can we answer this question ourselves? We've got the credit file, we've got all the KYC information, we've got land registry, we've got open banking, and we think, in the vast majority of cases, that information to hand will enable us to not have to go back and ask repeated questions of the borrower or the broker to send in proof of, deposit, proof of income, missing mortgages on the mortgage file, etc. It really stops us from having to do that. And again, the final output of that, we believe, is we're offering a better service. So we're able to get to that decision quicker and more confidently, which means our brokers are able to have more confidence in us and are getting that better standard of service. But let's go in a little bit more about what that process looks like in reality. So the first thing we do to paint the picture is we will send the borrower a link asking them to give us access to, via open banking, to the relevant accounts that they have. It's done via a link within an email explaining clearly that we will do this securely, and that we are asking this again in order to better facilitate the processing of their loan. What that looks like is they will click a button and it will, largely depending on the bank that they are with, take them into a banking app. They're able to log into that app, usually just in the usual way that they check their balance, etc. It takes them to a screen and says, which accounts would you like to make available to LendInvest via open banking? And they simply select those bank accounts and press OK. It is entirely limited in its scope of what we can do. So we get 3 months access by default, but at any time, the borrower can go back into their bank account and take away access as and when they want it. They are entirely in control of granting us access and removing access. So that's a high level picture of how we access the information. And I wanted to use this actually more in terms of showing what that information looks like for us as the underwriting team begins making decisions on the case and what they're looking for. So here is the kind of the overarching dashboard that we get. And as you can see, it gives us a variety of information. And again, this information is key for us to answer questions should they arise very quickly without having to trouble the broker. And if it's income related questions, or there is outstanding questions around affordability or missing mortgages on the mortgage file, we're really able to drill down very quickly on this information to get to the answer we want. I can assure you, and we assure our borrowers, that we aren't digging into personal details. We're not here to discover OnlyFans habits and other things they might be doing that they don't want anyone to see. That their data is held really, really securely. We do not disclose it to any other parties within the application, husband and wife or business partners. They're held on really secure servers where we need to hold the information. And it is only there to discover bits around the credit and the underwrite that we need. So questions around, deposit source, income source, rental income versus mortgage expense are all answered really seamlessly. And again, this is just simply another screen showing a little more detailed information that we can see around the regularity of incoming and outgoings to do with a mortgage account. So it provides another layer of information for us on top of the credit file, which sometimes, unfortunately, the credit files aren't totally complete. This simply allows us to paint a really good 360 picture of the case, and it enables us to get to an offer far, far quicker than we would otherwise be able to do.
I think you touched on two really key points there, Arman. One around the security and people's concern. And then the other one, I think, is people genuinely have this preconception in their mind that we're going to be trawling through their bank account looking at how much they spend in the pub on a Friday night or how often they buy shoes. And that is something that comes up time and again.
Yeah, and we have no interest in that whatsoever. Again, with my COO hat on, we want our teams, internal teams, to be as efficient as possible in underwriting these cases. We've got, no appetite to be looking at things we shouldn't be looking at things, because that's just delaying the time to get to a final decision. So we're not looking in the background to say, is there anything that that we can see that would want to make us want to reject a case? In fact, our total ethos around building this picture and building the data set around the borrower and the case is simply so we can ask, how can we say yes as quickly as possible? And that's something that we're really, really concentrated on, that the teams are really held to. And we've got really little appetite in going into the minutiae of where someone is, dining out on a Friday night.
Fab. Okay, so moving on slightly from there, but obviously utilising the technology, how would you say that we marry the use of technology with being a specialist lender?
I think I'm going to carry on sharing my screen because I've got one more slide to show you that really tries to explain how we do that. And
Okay.
It's so important for us to do that. And it's something that's really ingrained in the way we approach our technology. We realize we are a specialist lender. And as a specialist lender, we appreciate that we are here because no two cases are going to be the same. So we've got to cater for that. And the last thing we want is for our organization, for our underwriters, for our case managers, for us as a business to become a faceless computer-led business. Everything we are doing currently is around gathering information so that our underwriters can better understand a case and do that in as quick a time as possible. It really isn't there for a computer says no attitude, which, I appreciate some of the larger high street lenders, live in that space. It's really not where we are. And we're building all of our technology to actually bring us closer to the broker, closer to the borrower, so that we maintain that dialogue about that case, because it's important as a specialist lender that we continue to offer our transparency and flexibility. But we want to do it in a frictionless way that is quick and efficient. So what we try and do is automate repeated tasks, but the tasks where really a human is needed, we want to be there and be available to our brokers when that happens. We want them to be able to pick up a phone and speak to us about a case, and for someone to be able to give a rationale about why we made the decision we made or why we're asking for the information we're asking.